Manuel, thank you for coming on the show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Not only are you my broker, but I wanted to score extra points with that and having you on. But you have just such a wealth of knowledge that I think the people in the community that we have and that we're building will be privy to, and it would help them to have inspiration, uplift, financial literacy. So let me start off with a few things that I do know, and then you fill in the gaps for me.
Sure.
Right. So you have the One West Realty.
Correct.
All right, we have Terra Vista Escrow.
That's right.
All right, we have Fundright, which you have the polo on.
Yep, Fundright Mortgage.
We have the insurance company.
Correct.
Okay, and then we have, hold on, don't tell me yet. We have the flooring.
Yes,
that your
wood
son
flooring.
Wood flooring that your son helps with. We have the Tara beverages.
Tara beverages.
That are absolutely delicious.
Partner.
Yes. Then we have, hold on. Melt Monkey.
Melt Monkey
That's
Design.
helping in producing and filming this episode for us.
Currently where we are now.
Episode 4, in
Melt
the
Monkey
studio.
Design Studios.
We have that. And then, hold on, don't tell me. I think, we do the wholesaling. Or flipping.
We do flipping,
Do the flips.
Renovation Equity Group.
Renovation
Follow
Equity
us
Group.
on Instagram.
Okay. And then we'll make sure we tag everything at the bottom once the video is out.
Yes.
And then, besides being a husband, a father, an uncle, a great person, give me the rest of the businesses that I'm missing.
Let me see. I think the only one missing is that we do have a small company that carries a portfolio of rentals.
Okay.
Whether it be residential, we have corporate residential rental in Las Vegas.
Nice.
We have a couple of buildings in Murrieta. We own the building that we're actually in here in Ontario. So we have that part of it too, where we manage and manage our own buildings.
Got it. Okay, and then there's 2 more. You told me you're a partner with another mortgage company and real estate
That's
company.
correct.
Those 2.
Encore Real Estate, Encore Mortgage in Ontario is our sister company. A good friend of mine, Brian Ruckner, runs and operates that office, and I am a partner there.
Good deal.
Yeah,
Okay.
so overall, my wife and I are either partners, sit on the board of directors, or some percentage holder of at least 10 to 11 different corporations.
Woo.
Yeah.
Wow. So you brought up your wife. How long have you, because this is something I think is very important in business, right? And even dating and just trying to maneuver and become successful, because you always hear where you want to have, any successful man needs a good woman by his side. Tell me, how long have you been married?
I agree with that.
As he should, right?
I have been married for 8 great years.
Okay, I love it.
Together for 10.
Wow.
And I definitely owe a lot of my inspiration and my movement of becoming a serial entrepreneur to my wife.
Beautiful.
They push a lot on you.
I'm sure.
And she sees me bigger than I think I really am.
That's the blessing. That's a blessing.
That's the blessing.
Absolutely.
Part, yeah.
Because sometimes even in what we don't see in ourselves, other people see it.
Correct.
And if you can have that person as your best friend and marry them, that sky's the limit.
For sure.
Yeah. So
I think a little ego kicks in too, and I feel that if my wife says that I can do it, I kind of have to do it.
100%, yes.
Because I want to make her proud of me and make her like, see, I told you I could do it.
Yeah, and prove a point.
Yeah.
Like, I got this.
So the beginning of our entrepreneurship actually came because of her wanting her own escrow.
Okay.
So I married an escrow officer.
Okay.
Wanted to make sure my deals closed early.
And you got bonuses, right? Yeah. That works.
So I wanted to make sure that my deals closed early, married an escrow officer, and a few years into that, she said, look, it's always been my dream to own my own escrow.
I love it.
And I said, well, hey, let's make that dream come true.
I love that even more.
To do that, you have to get a broker's license.
Right.
Because that's the easiest escrow to open is a DRE sponsored escrow.
Okay.
Now we hold a DBO sponsored escrow, so we could do anybody's escrows. So we've evolved from that even. And that just led to, well, if I'm going to have a broker's license and escrow company, I might as well have a real estate company. I've been a realtor for 21 years.
Okay, good.
I might as well have a mortgage company. I've been a mortgage loan officer for 21 years as well.
Okay.
And I said, well, let's just do it. I guess if you're going to do it big,
do it big, right.
Don't do it at all.
It was like the domino effect.
It
1,
was.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Correct.
So now with that, in the words of the immortal Biggie Smalls, more money, more problems. So how does that work for you? I mean, because people see, as you and I both know on social media, they see the glam. I have this, I have that, but they don't know that I have to pay. I gotta get some extra paper for the copier, and the rent or the mortgage is due, and I need to pay the light bill. How does all that work for you as far as the entrepreneurship?
Well, I mean, that is the most stressful part of entrepreneurship. And you're right. People just see the overnight success that we post on social media,
Right.
Facebook, Instagram. I'm a very big Facebook user.
Okay.
I have been since I started my own broker practice. That's 7 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
This month, 7 years ago. And we grew our brokerage from maybe 5 people to over 100 in
Wow.
just 2 years.
I love that.
And it was all social media based, advertising, raising the flag that we're here,
Right.
what we have to offer, who we are, and that helped us grow a lot.
Good deal. So
Yeah.
navigating back through the growth, how do you handle the flip side of it that people don't see on Instagram? Balancing the books. People think we were talking earlier off camera. We were talking about the Instagram has the real estate starter package, right? Where they have the Gucci belt and the Gucci shoes and the Versace jacket, but they don't realize, we made $10,000-$12,000, but you have to pay taxes, and they don't put that
Correct.
tax. So how do you handle that part of the entrepreneurship? That I think is important for people to know.
I think the most important part is developing your team.
Okay.
As an entrepreneur, most of us are good at one thing, and that's holding a team together.
Right.
Coming up with those extravagant ideas,
Right.
implementing them, not being afraid to do them. But a lot of times we're not good at the actual task.
Right.
So getting a real estate manager, mortgage manager, escrow manager, accounting department, compliance department, those were all really important, and doing them really early on was very important in the growth of our businesses.
I love it.
Because without the team, it wouldn't work. As
Right.
a matter of fact, as you know, across the office wall in our office, 40 feet across, it says teamwork makes the dream work.
And that's true.
And that's 100% true.
That's true indeed.
Couldn't do it without them.
So now with that being said, that's going to lead me into this segment. You work with a lot of your family.
That's correct.
Right. So half time I want to choke my brother, let alone work with him, right? But you work with your sister.
I work with my
your
sister,
wife.
my wife.
You have your nieces.
2 of them.
To your nieces, you have your childhood friend from elementary school.
Vincent.
So tell me about that. How is it that, because sometimes when things happen, you're working and you're the boss, and they're like, to hell with you. I used to change your diaper. People can get real crazy in a heated argument. How does that balance work out for you?
To add to that list, my oldest son.
Okay.
One of my nephews.
Okay.
So there's a lot of family involved, and we spend a lot of time together. I think me and my wife calculated the other day that we spend about 20 hours a day together in either the same room or the same location for the last 10 years.
That's a lot. But that also brings you closer too.
It brings us closer, and I think what helps is everybody respecting everybody else's position.
Okay.
So I take the position of CEO across most of the companies that we own.
Okay.
And my wife carries the position of vice president across all of the companies that we own. And then everybody else under that. And I think everybody respecting their position is good.
Got it.
It helps a lot, including my wife. So we might not be having a good day at home, but as soon as we walk through those doors, it turns into CEO and VP.
Got it.
So
you're able to separate it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
She might, grin under her teeth when she's asking me to do something, but we're able to definitely separate it and leave it what at home is at home and what's here is here at work and in business.
Got it.
And that helps for my sister and my nieces and everybody.
Okay.
At the family barbecue, it's all good.
It's family. Right.
Yeah, it's family. And we might argue there. We might have not been on the best track there, but we've been able to leave that there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, not bring it into our work environment.
Now, speaking of businesses, a lot of the family works here, but you also have your son who runs the wood flooring company. So tell us a little bit about that company and how he went from college into running that for you.
So Wood Flooring More, formerly Empire Flooring and Molding in Ranch Cucamonga.
Okay.
So we bought a pre-existing business.
That's always good.
Right at the time where the gentleman that owned it wanted to retire, and there was a difficulty getting product in from the ports.
Oh, wow.
So we purchased this business last July.
Okay, right.
Actually
At the end
opened
of
a
the pandemic.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Actually opened a handful of businesses during the pandemic.
Okay.
Which is another story. But we bought this there. We were able to get a really good price for it because of that.
Okay.
Me knowing that supply and demand issues will not be forever, I decided to go ahead and tackle it and take it on, especially for the price that we were getting it.
Right.
Especially that they've been producing material for flooring for this area for the last 20 years. It was kind of a no-brainer.
Okay.
The reason I didn't pull a trigger on it earlier because I didn't have anybody to fill the position of operations manager.
Got it.
Nobody that I can trust or that I thought was capable of doing it.
And that's important.
So my son was at ASU at the time.
Arizona State?
Partying, studying.
Right, as
Yeah.
you should. As
Right.
you should. Both of them. Balance.
Both of them.
Right, has to balance.
Good balance.
Yeah.
And he's got a good head on his shoulders.
Good.
He went into corporate America. He went into FedEx and became a manager really quick.
Okay.
And, we had that conversation one day on, hey, what are they paying you? And da-da-da-da. And now that you're a manager. And he told me, and I said, hey, what if this opportunity, because I'm always thinking,
Right.
So this particular purchase was always in the back of my head because it had been offered to me a year earlier.
Right.
So bringing that up at a conversation at a dinner, as a matter of fact, I said, hey, well, what if I bought this business and you ran it?
Right.
And you take your manager skills that you learned here and apply them there. Nice. Well, I don't know if I can do that, and blah, blah, blah. It took a little bit of convincing just because, having to move back to California and all that good stuff.
He was in Arizona.
He was in Arizona.
Okay.
He had already made a life there.
Gotcha.
He was already living there.
Right.
I had a job. So I said, you know what? It's just a different product. Apply the same skills. It's just a different product. You have me to ask any questions that you have.
Real life training.
I'll back you up.
Right.
Let's just go. And he said, you know what? Let's do it, Dad. And it's a wrap. We this July was a year.
Okay.
We came out positive.
That's always a blessing. That's always a good thing.
Good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're not negative.
Right.
We learned. They made money. I made a little bit of money. We've created new contacts, new clients. We've brought the business from being old school pen and paper to all digital.
Okay, good.
So we're 100% digital when it comes to inventory, client relationship management, social media, website, to the point where this business didn't even have internet inside its location.
Wow. Okay.
So we've come a long way with it in just 12 months, and we plan to even go further. It's called Wood, Floor, and More for a reason.
Got you.
So the N more is coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll add another product that will fit well with our product, something in the building industry.
Okay.
And then just keep going
Continue
from there.
to grow.
Yep.
Good. So did your son say that time that he spent in school, did that help him any in this project?
Yeah,
in the
I
business?
believe that it did. It helped him carry himself better.
Got you.
Speak better.
Okay.
Write better.
All right.
So it helped them carry himself a little more intellectually.
Right. Help him grow and mature.
Gotcha. Grow. Yeah. Got all the partying out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how old is he?
He is 28.
Maybe not all, but I think I think he's close. He's close. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So let's talk about, because we're in real estate, right? And we see how real estate always evolves. You've been in it for a long time.
Correct.
Give me post-marriage, Manuel, and how that worked for you, because I want the people to know, in this process of you growing and you maturing, what was one of the worst decisions you made being in the business, so other people don't make that. I know one time we had an office meeting, you talked about buying a BMW cash. Yeah. Right? So tell me a little bit about that story, because I didn't get the full story on that. And then what suggestions would you give to anybody who's coming up, getting their license, on what to do and how to do?
There's definitely, biggest mistakes I probably made during my initial real estate start and mortgage. So I'm a little bit different. That I started, so 21 years ago, it was taboo to do both.
Okay.
It still kind of is.
Right.
But it's legal now, and companies are starting to accept it more and more as we get all of these changes and as it becomes more digital on a platform or more paperless. So I started that way, And I think one of the biggest things was that we didn't have CRMs.
Okay.
And
For the database.
we had to do our own database
Right.
through Excel spreadsheet.
Or the old school note and pad.
Oh, note and pad,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, I'm going to date myself a little bit right now, but when I started selling real estate, we were following around on a Thomas Guide.
Oh, God. Yeah, I remember that.
The first MLS system that I ever used was ran on DOS.
Oh, wow.
So for those of you guys who know
Right,
what DOS
right.
is, it's a green screen.
Yeah. You might have to Google it, but
Yeah. It was called Lightning at the time.
Okay.
Evolved really quick out of that, but I did use it the first year, and I think that not embracing the contact relationship manager of keeping up with your past clients,
Right.
and nurturing those leads, which are warm, instead of tackling straight cold leads.
Right.
Back then we'd use the radio a lot, so the phone would ring.
Right.
So those were 100% cold, coming straight off of the radio.
Right.
And not thinking, well, hey, I just sold 15 homes in the last 6 months.
Right.
Why haven't I reached back to them? My mentality was, they already bought a home. In California, you don't move for 10 years. They don't need me anymore.
Right.
I want the next guy.
Right.
That's wrong. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I made.
Okay.
If I would have nurtured that since the beginning,
Oh, you probably have 100,000 contacts almost.
I'd have
Easy.
a lot.
Yeah. Easy.
A lot.
And not only that, with that, what you just said is that we have to also remember that referrals.
Correct.
Referrals come from that. And then with you doing both, 6 months, somebody might want to refinance. The rates get better. So there's so much that comes from that that we have to keep in mind. So
100%.
That's on the real estate side. Tell us on the financial side, post-marriage, you making a lot. Because, real estate for us can go up and down, up and down. You can make as much as you want to make, up to $500,000, $1 million producers, depending on how much you want to work.
Correct.
Give me some of those mistakes that you made that you can give to us, even in modern times, that we don't want to make.
I think coming into it really young, I was 20 years old when I got a license.
Okay.
21 when I started practicing full time. So I think I had a lot of self-discipline for that age, and I didn't go out and splurge.
Okay.
I think that's what helped a lot.
Oh, good.
I think that's one of the best things that I could have done, is having that, because nobody's going to tell us to wake up and go to work.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to tell us how much to work,
Right.
how much to sell.
Right.
It's just totally up to us. So learning that I'm actually running a business other than I work for this broker
Right.
was very important early on in my career.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give me the story about that you told us at the office meeting briefly about the buying the BMW cash. Or going give us two of them, because one, the customer service was terrible when you walked in there.
Oh, yes.
And then two, give us the cash story.
I think I used the example in reference to one of the best things that I think that I could tell anybody trying to join real estate, mortgages, any kind of sales business,
Right.
is knowing your product.
Right.
I can walk into a house and tell you what kind of texture's on the wall, what kind of roof is on it,
Right.
what kind of windows are on it, what kind of flooring is in it,
Nice.
what it's supposed to have for the year that it was built.
Right.
I can almost tell you for a certain what kind of plumbing it has.
Oh, wow.
Does it have copper, galvanized, PEX, based on the year that it was built? Is there insulation in the wall?
Right.
Is there not?
All those are important.
Is that lath plaster? Is it drywall? Is all of those things are very important. And I compared it to one time that I wanted to splurge for myself,
Right.
and I bought the big boy BMW.
As you should.
And as you shouldn't,
Yeah.
actually.
Well, back
I learned
then,
that, but
yeah,
we'll go
there
back
you
to
go.
that. Sometimes it's okay to get these things for yourself if they're considered like a trophy for yourself.
Right.
If you want to, put
You've
yourself.
worked hard.
Yeah, you worked hard, and you want to give yourself that. That's okay to celebrate. Just stay in your lane, and there's levels.
Right.
But going back to the salesman, when I walked into the BMW dealer, this is an all BMW dealer, biggest dealer in Orange County, and the gentleman knew nothing about the car that I was buying.
The salesman.
The salesman.
Who's selling, average BMW now is probably starting at 30,000, 40,000.
It was 100,000 then, and that was
Wow.
7-8 years ago.
And he had no clue on what he was selling for $100,000.
No, he had no clue. I told him more by Googling it
Right.
than him just saying, "Hey, cool. Like, I mean, it's white. Did you want a white one?
Damn.
And it's got nice leather. Look,
Right,
it's clean.
look at this right here. Right,
He's like
smooth.
rubbing it. Yeah,
It's smooth.
you want to drive it?
Right.
You know, that's about as far as I got with the gentleman.
Wow.
And I was very surprised. So I've always taken that into consideration. Going back even further, my salesmanship starts from about 11 years old.
Okay.
I used to sell women's clothing at the swap meet.
Nice.
Because that's what my mom did for a living.
Okay.
And we didn't get paid. We just had to wake up every Saturday and Sunday
And go work.
5 a.m. in the morning and work till 3 o'clock every single weekend. And work, but it was one of the biggest blessings I think I would have ever gotten, because it taught me how to talk to people. It taught me how to sell.
Right.
And it's not always a hard sell where you're confusing the client just so that they purchase 3 of them instead of 1.
Right.
It's
pretty cut
educating
dry.
them, educating them more on what kind of material it is, what will look best on them, what color goes well with their skin. I mean, we got deep into it.
So you went in depth to the sales. I get it.
And I'm 12, 13 years old by the time I've developed these type of skills. And being able to show off to my mom that, like, hey, you went and took a break.
And I sold X, Y,
I just
and Z.
made, $200.
Right.
You know? And it also taught me profit. It taught me that if you buy an item at this amount, wholesale, right? Downtown LA Fashion District.
Right.
And then you brought it to the market, you could sell it for this much.
Okay.
That markup in the middle was called profit.
Right.
And that was for me and to run my business. So that was a very strong thing that I learned very young in my age. Yeah.
Good deal. So being where you are now, where do you want to go, and where do you see the market going? Because there's so much on the news. There's so much propaganda about real estate, mortgages, interest rate, and some of it is true to an extent, and some of it is just clickbait to get people to watch and click on ads and things like that. From your personal perspective, where do you see us going? And in personal goals, where would you like to go as well?
First question, where do I see us going in this real estate market?
Yes.
I do see us slowing down a bit. I do see sales flattening out.
Okay.
It's going a lot faster than I thought.
Right.
But the good thing is the faster it goes, the faster we get out of it. I've been in probably 5 of these.
Okay.
At least.
So you know how to weather the storm.
Yeah, and I've been in the worst one that I think people have been talking about for the last,
The
25 years, which is 2008.
Yeah.
So they go pretty quick. Even in 2008, when I couldn't do a mortgage because there was no lenders that would lend money.
Right.
There was 2 or 3 lenders closing daily.
Right.
We were literally watching a website called the Implodometer.
Oh, wow.
And it was tracking all these mortgage companies as they close their doors.
I remember New Century, Ames Home Loan,
everybody,
all of them.
As Long Beach Mortgage, as everybody.
Beneficial, all those,
All those guys went under,
Okay.
right? They went under, took the dust off, created another LLC or another corp, and then started all over again, right?
The cycle.
So even when we were in that point, I remember the worst of it being March 2008. That's when, local guys were closing. So we felt it stronger. Your New Century, like you said.
Right.
Like, dang, when they closed their doors, I think I had 2 loans over there. And I'm like, wow, I just lost X amount of income.
Right.
There's nothing that I can do about it. I couldn't transfer it somewhere else or anything. Nobody was doing that particular type of
loan
product.
programs, right.
Yeah. So, going off of that, it only took maybe 6 to 8 months for us to pivot out of it and start selling bank-owned properties, doing BPOs,
BPOs,
getting REO accounts,
Yeah.
selling properties cash. In 2009, 2010, I would probably say that 90% of the transactions that I did were cash.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we're probably doing about 2 to 3 a month.
Okay.
Cash. Yeah, not huge, but I mean for those times that was a lot.
It worked perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, that is a good
amount. Yeah. I mean, 2 to 3 a month is not bad.
2 or 3 a month. We were doing okay, and they were cash. They were closing quick. There were investors. There was investors that we were working with multiple times. Why? Because we knew our product, we knew our area,
Right.
we knew our our demographic, like you're saying.
Right.
We knew prices, all that.
Okay.
So that helped a lot.
Good deal. So for the business that you have, the different ones we have, where would you like to go?
We're currently probably at I call it our max with my wife. I told her, you know what, 10 is enough. I don't think we need to go any further than that.
Okay.
I use a very basic mathematics to figure that out.
Got you.
I'm a numbers guy.
That makes sense.
And if you look at the numbers, the amount of small businesses that make at least $1 million a year profit is probably under 5%.
Oh, wow.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah. So the amount of businesses that make $100,000 profit is probably in the high 50%.
That's a big difference.
Right? It's a huge difference. So, excuse me, guys. Sorry, forgot to turn my phone off.
Oh, well.
Um,
That's 10 businesses. You're gonna get some calls.
Yeah,
so.
that was actually Renovation Equity Group there.
I understand.
So with going back to what I was saying, if I have 10 companies that I'm almost for certain I can make profitable $100,000 with me just overseeing it,
Right. Not involved in the everyday labor of it.
that still makes $1 million a year, doesn't it?
Right.
So it's
Easy.
just a different way of
Right.
tackling the same outcome.
Got it.
So trying to grow one company to $1 million profit a year is very difficult.
Right. It's a lot of work.
I've yet to do it. I've gotten really close, but I've yet to do it. And that's when I kind of came up with that. When COVID hit, I seen the opportunity to buy businesses that were established, to buy into good people, to help them establish businesses.
Okay.
And that's where we came up with that deal and that goal. So
Good.
that's the current goal right now.
Okay. So just expanding on that. So
Expanding on all the 10 companies that currently are open to make them at least on average profitable, which is good because if you have 10, 1 and 2 can maybe do $40,000, $50,000 a
Right.
year. And 3 and 4 are doing $200,000
Right.
each.
They can all do different numbers.
So as long as the average is still 100,
Yeah.
it's still $1 million a year,
Right.
right?
That makes a difference.
That's the goal.
So let's talk about the
Or
family.
$1 million plus.
Million plus is
Yeah.
always good too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the family a little bit.
Yeah.
So how many children do you have?
I have 4.
4. Okay. So you 2 boys and girls. Give us the breakdown.
Okay, I have 3 boys and a girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
And married 8 years. You said
8 years,
Together
yep.
10.
Together 10. Yep.
So as far as a family, and you already have one of your sons in the business.
Correct.
Where do you want
in a business? Yeah.
in a business? Where do you see the other children going? Do they want to join the business? Do they want to do their own thing? How do they feel about that?
My other son totally dropped off. He's like, no, I want to have nothing to do with the family
Okay.
business. My daughter is going to school for nursing, so
Nice.
she wants to be a nurse.
Okay.
I'm already planting the seed. You need to own your own medical practice.
Got you.
So a clinic.
Right.
Something small, like, the Hispanic clinics, once you get all this experience and you're there.
Got you.
My youngest son is only 8.
Okay. So he's just living
been
life right
saying
now.
He's going to be a real estate broker since he was in preschool.
Nice.
So I kind of embedded that in his
Okay.
head. He's been on site at our office and on flips with me and things since he was born.
Okay.
So it's kind of like in his blood.
Right. Right. He's been around for so long.
He's been along for so long. He says real estate broker and an architect.
Okay. Those go hand in hand.
He likes to draw. I told him that if he draws it, Daddy could build it.
Right.
So he's really into that. So
Okay.
hopefully he'll stay on that path.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So now I know at one point you told me your wife had retired, but she's coming out of retirement for a little bit to help with escrow. Tell me about
Correct.
that.
So she retired from her seat at escrow.
Oh, okay.
So my wife
Okay.
was 20-year escrow officer.
Wow.
13 of those years spent working for somebody.
Okay.
And then 7 of those spent working
the
in
company.
her own escrow.
Beautiful.
And then once we trained somebody into the position that we thought would be good, Alexis,
Right.
she was able to step back and say, okay, I'm not doing escrows at all anymore.
Okay.
and she retired from escrow.
Got it. Okay.
When she retired from escrow, she got hired into her new position,
Okay.
which is VP over all of the companies.
Got it.
So she's kind of she's my scratch board.
Okay.
Like I go to her and ask her like, hey, I'm thinking this, and this, and this. And she's got a really good feeling for, no, you're fucking crazy.
Right. In those
we don't
words.
have enough money to do that.
Right.
Or that's a good idea. I think that we should maybe expand on that a little bit more. And I let her have that because every time I've asked, it's worked.
And that's a good balance too.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes you go to people, not just your wife's relationship or friends, and they're yes people. Oh yeah, it could be the worst idea. Like, oh yeah, that's good. You know, like the guys they always say, who wants to be a rapper? How's that sound? Oh man, that's fire, but it's trash. Like, tell them the truth. But having that balance in business makes a good deal. Like you just said, it's worked out for you.
It's worked out. So now she takes that position. She is coming back to her escrow seat to fill a leave of pregnancy.
Right.
For our good friend and worker Alexis.
Yeah, she'll be gone.
And but that's it. Okay. Once she comes back, she'll once again put her hat back on for VP. Well, actually, right now she'll wear them both.
Okay.
And then it's a more of a relaxed thing. Running an escrow desk is very time consuming, and it has you at that desk and at that phone and at that email.
It's always a schedule.
All day, every day.
Right.
Because the deal always had to close yesterday.
Right.
And it's always escrow's fault.
Right.
So it's a very heavy position to carry.
Right.
So she'll back out of that and then just go back to 100% overseeing all the companies with myself.
Good deal. Sounds like a very good.
Give her a little more time.
A good nucleus of everything being put together. So I want to end with the company that you have to get the name of it, but the flips that you do.
Yeah, Renovation Equity Group LLC on IG, on Facebook, on YouTube.
Right, we will put all of that so you can follow them all. And then I want to be able to talk about the flips, how they're going previous, and then where you see them going. Do you think they're going to be more wholesales? A lot of people right now, from what I'm hearing, investors are buying and holding, trying to wait this thing out. And I know you just mentioned previously, the faster we go through it, the faster we get out of it.
Yep.
What are your thoughts with the flipping market right now?
In the flipping market, so just a little background, I started flipping in 2010.
Okay.
So 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
We flipped not a lot to the standard of some of the flippers that I know. I mean, some guys do what I've done in 10 years in a year.
Right.
But we've done just shy of 100 flips.
Okay.
So we know our way around a piece of property. We know how to get in and out. We know which ones to buy, which ones not to buy. Having a background in real estate and mortgage helps a lot because we understand the dynamic of the market. We understand demand. We understand comparative market analysis to the point where I could probably do the appraisal for it.
Oh, wow. That's so when you go into a property, you already pretty much know I'm going to need $20,000 for this. This is my ARV, and if it's worth it or not.
I no longer get quotes to do estimates, and I'm usually within, I would say, $10,000 to $15,000 on budget.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just leave ourselves that little gap and run with it.
Got you.
We have a lot of people on salary now, and a lot of repeat subcontractors that we use.
Okay. Good
So
deal.
with that being said, I see the market for us. If you bought these properties prior to Inflation Friday, which was last
Friday,
week.
right, which was last Friday.
The Friday
before
prior,
last, right.
So if you brought it,
I like that Inflation Friday. That's a good one.
I stole that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I watched a podcast this morning
Right.
from Barry Habib, one of the guys I love to follow in reference to economics and real estate trends. And if you bought it prior to that, you want to get it off your books as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because in the last 2 years, we were buying a lot of property with a smaller margin so that we could keep our money going.
Got you.
We're blessed to be able to almost do all of our flips with our own money.
Okay, good.
So we don't
have to borrow hard money or anything
we
like that.
do periodically, but let's say out of 5 projects, maybe 1 will be hard money.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay.
4 will be full cash. So it keeps the carrying cost down and allows me to be more aggressive on purchase, which we needed.
Right.
but gives you a smaller margin.
Okay.
So,
But you're doing 3, 4, 5, 6 a month. That helps.
what the problem now is that if I bought it past last Friday,
Right.
is that I could lose 10%, and if I lose 10%, I'm probably losing half of the money that I would have made, if not maybe all of the money that I would have made.
Right.
So getting those off of our books right now is very important.
Okay.
Even if we break even on them, it's okay. Bringing all the money back in-house and sitting cash heavy.
Okay.
Right now, high recommendation for everybody in our industry to sit cash heavy, sit FICO ready,
Right.
and sit loan ready.
Cash heavy, FICO ready, and loan heavy.
Loan heavy.
Okay.
Because you want to make sure that your hard money guys are there waiting for you.
Right.
So with hard money, the cool thing about it is you can get pre-approved for a certain amount of money, and it's just sitting there waiting for you.
Right, exactly.
Like with some of my guys, they have $5 million. Manuel, these are your $5 million. Use them as you wish. You still have to go through an underwriting process,
Right.
but it's only 1 week long, and you can close in 2.
Got you.
So you want to have your hard money guys ready, you want to have your cash ready, and you want to have your FICO score ready.
Got it.
Because there will be opportunity that comes from this, right? I think the old saying is, if there's blood in the streets, there's money to be made.
Right.
It's unfortunate,
But it's the reality that we're in right now.
but it's the reality that we're in.
Right.
So I think that we're not going to see a crash like 2008. There's no reason for it.
Right.
Unless this goes a little bit bigger than the United States, then maybe. Or these wars get a little bit more out of hand.
Right. Or go a little bit longer than what they're going.
Than
too.
what they're going. And we keep giving away billions of dollars to these wars, then maybe it'll go a little bit longer. But if not, in the track record that we hold, it looks like we should be back flipping to normal and that there will be opportunities. The market will stabilize. The market in some areas will drop.
Okay.
Let's say it drops 5-10%.
Right.
In some areas that are less desirable, if we do start to see a buyer's market, we will see a deeper drop. But those are maybe like, and nothing against people that live in Nuevo, but
Right.
like Nuevo,
Right.
Apple Valley,
Right.
Hesperia,
Okay.
these Joshua Tree people
Right. Indio.
that keep buying.
Right.
Certain parts of Indio, because
Right.
Indio's getting nice now.
They are.
So nothing against those areas, but those areas do tend to become a little bit less desirable when there is more property on the market.
Got you.
So I see us being back probably somewhere about next year,
But
more aggressively. We're still buying now.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. But in the meantime, in between time, with those 3 points that you just gave us, still be ready because there's still going to be some opportunity out there.
Because there will be opportunity.
Okay.
Those off-market deals that you're getting, those wholesalers that you're talking to, they're becoming a lot nicer these days.
They are.
Right?
Story real quick as we're talking about this. I was showing a property, a brand new condo for a client, and the commission was $7,500. This dude was
Flat
the
fee.
rudest agent, right? He's 2 weeks later, James, we raised it to $15,000. How's it going, man? You're going. I'm like, oh, you're really nice right now. You're super nice. So that shift you're talking about, I understand.
It's there. It's not in every place.
Right.
I mean, you try to go buy a house in Alta Loma, good luck.
Right.
But you try to buy a house maybe in South Ontario and you have a little bit better chance,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So inventory is starting to come out more, and those opportunities will be there more. Wholesalers won't be taking as big as chunks.
Right.
They know as well that when they're underwriting deals that they have to factor in a 10-15% decrease in value, just in case. Because if not, a smart investor is not going to buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you have to be mindful of that.
So you got to be mindful of that.
Okay.
So deals, I mean, I could easily see deals even coming at 50 cents on the dollar, back to old school.
Yeah, back to the basics.
We're buying them in 11 and 12 and things like that. Also, getting a little more with experience in flipping comes other avenues that you can take. So it's not just buying the home, remodeling and putting it on the market. It's buying the home and getting its best use.
Got you.
So
give us an example of that.
I talked about Ontario.
Right.
We're in Ontario. It's our home city for our office. There is a lack of inventory, and there's also a lack of newer homes. So if I could remodel a home from 1950s
Right.
and add an ADU to it,
yeah, that's
accessory dwelling unit,
Right.
we have a lot of homes in Ontario that have detached garages, and they happen to be in the back.
Right.
So it's the best position for an ADU,
Right.
or a JADU when they're attached. So I think getting more creative on that front
Okay.
is better too. We're adding an ADU probably to every other flip that we're currently doing right now.
Okay.
Just because the return on investment is a lot bigger.
Better.
Yeah.
What about buy and hold?
Buy and hold as well.
Okay.
I believe in getting your active income up before you get your passive income up.
Gotcha.
Because let's say you just started in investing, you have 100 grand, and you go buy a home and you do the Burr model on it, right? So it's buy, rehab, rent, refinance,
Right.
repeat.
Okay.
So if you do that, well, there goes all your money.
Right.
So
In that time span, yeah.
in that
right.
one time span, so it's
Yeah.
going to take you a while to get the next one.
Right.
That has to go up in value. You got to refinance and cash out again.
Right.
And then maybe take that money over along with other money that you've earned from wherever it is that you got this money.
So take that 100,000, stack it, let it grow, and then get your passive income.
Correct.
Gotcha.
You know, maybe
Okay.
that 100 grand gets to $500,000,
Right.
$750,000,
Right.
$1 million through flips.
Right.
And then you go into a hybrid model of that, which is some flips, some buy and holds.
Oh, got you.
Buy and holds don't work for every property.
Right.
Every property that I've ever flipped is not a buy and hold.
Right.
Because of the margin. If the margin is only 10-15%, that's not a good buy and hold.
Right.
If it's 30%, that's a good buy
That can
and
work
hold.
for you, right?
Yeah.
Right. You got a little
That's
bit more
usually the
there.
rule of thumb is about 30%.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot, man. This is
Yeah.
this is a lot. I mean, I knew in my mind it was a lot. However, I wanted to find the best way to give this to the people, right? To give this to the community.
Yeah, for sure.
Because one thing is, I think as a broker, is best to know that you're knowledgeable, that you know what you're talking about, and to come over here and talk to you. But on a whole, on a national level, we want people to see like, wow, he started here, went here, did this. Not only that, he's working with his wife and this works. Like, that's inspiration.
Correct.
He works with his family and it works. There's just so many different pillars of inspiration and upliftment and positivity that people don't see every day
Thank
that
you.
we want to give, that you possess, and that's why it was important to get you on.
Thank you. I
So,
appreciate that.
yeah, man, it's always
you
a
for
pleasure.
having me.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm happy I came here because I had a chance to go to a couple other spots that still called. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
You all had to. I feel like, I don't know if you saw the quote from Steph Curry. He said, his dad said, well, Duke wants you now, because he went to the small school, and
Sure.
called back and said, Duke wants me. He said, Dad, F them. They didn't want me when I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And when the people call now recruit, I'm like, F them. You didn't want me when I wanted to go, so
Yeah.
I'm happy where I am.
Now
So-
I'm doing numbers where I'm at.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm all of a sudden I'm on your radar, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Not even on radar, you see that we're coming up and doing things, and
Yeah.
now on these different platforms. So, we're good.
I
I'm ready to just be
appreciate
here.
that.
So, no, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
So,
we
we're
love
going to
having you.
leave all the social handles. We're going to put all the businesses. We're going to put everything from A to Z. Even his partner business with Melt Monkey is doing the producing and directing now for us. So,
Yeah.
I am grateful. Take the clips, follow him. Ask him questions, do whatever you need to do, but at the end of the day, this is a true entrepreneur and family man, and you can see it all, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Good deal.